Lakers Nation. What I'm about to share with you today involves one of the most polarizing figures in our franchise's recent history, a situation that's developing in real time across the league, and a possibility that seemed absolutely unthinkable just months ago but is now being discussed seriously by insiders, executives, and fans across the entire basketball world. We're talking about a potential roster move that could fundamentally reshape our championship aspirations, reignite debates about roster construction and asset management, and force us to confront some uncomfortable truths about loyalty, talent evaluation, and what it truly takes to build a contender around LeBron James in what might be the final chapters of his legendary career. This isn't just another trade rumor that gets floated and forgotten within 24 hours. This is something that league insiders are taking seriously, something that has real momentum behind the scenes, and something that could materialize faster than any of us expect if the right circumstances align. Welcome to Lakers News Fan Report, your absolute #1 destination for breaking Lakers news, exclusive insider analysis, the hottest trade rumors, roster updates, and the kind of comprehensive basketball coverage that separates casual fans from the diehards who live and breathe purple and gold every single day. I'm here to bring you the unfiltered truth about our beloved Lakers, the strategic insights that actually matter, and the perspective you need to understand what's really happening with our franchise during this critical period of the season. What you're about to hear will challenge your assumptions, force you to reconsider positions you thought were set in stone, and potentially give you a completely new lens through which to view our path forward. Let me start by painting a picture of where we are right now as a franchise, because understanding our current reality is absolutely essential to grasping why the situation I'm about to reveal has such massive implications for Lakers Nation. We're in a fascinating position this season, competing hard every night, showing flashes of the brilliance that makes us believe we can contend with anyone when we're firing on all cylinders, but also displaying inconsistencies and vulnerabilities that raise legitimate questions about whether our current roster construction is optimal for making a deep playoff run. LeBron continues to defy father time and play at an elite level that will be remarkable for a player 10 years younger. Austin Reeves has emerged as a legitimate star in this league, someone who can create his own shot, facilitate for others, and deliver in clutch moments. Our supporting cast has shown moments of excellence, but we've also seen stretches where depth becomes an issue, where we struggle to generate consistent offense beyond our primary creators, and where defensive intensity fluctuates in ways that championship teams simply cannot afford. The front office has been active, constantly evaluating the roster, exploring potential upgrades, and trying to balance the urgency of maximizing LeBron's remaining years with the long-term health of the franchise. Trade deadline season is always intense for Lakers fans because we know our organization has never been afraid to make bold moves, to shake things up when necessary, and to pursue stars who can elevate us to championship contention. But this year feels different somehow. Like there's an undercurrent of tension and possibility that goes beyond the typical deadline speculation. Rumors have been swirling about various players, various scenarios, and various ways we might be able to improve this roster before the postseason arrives. Now, I need you to think back to one of the most controversial and debated trades in recent Lakers history. A move that sent shockwaves through our fan base and the entire NBA when it happened. We're talking about a player who was absolutely central to our championship run, someone who formed one of the most dominant duos in basketball alongside LeBron, a generational talent whose combination of offensive skill and defensive versatility made him one of the most valuable players in the league when healthy. This player was the ultimate two-way force, capable of protecting the rim on one end and scoring from anywhere on the court on the other end. But there were always concerns, always whispers about durability and availability, always that nagging worry about whether he could stay on the court consistently enough to be the cornerstone piece a championship team needs. Earlier this year, in what can only be described as one of the most shocking blockbuster trades in NBA history, Anthony Davis found himself shipped from the Los Angeles Lakers to the Dallas Mavericks. In a deal that brought Luka Doncic to LA, the basketball world was stunned. Fans were divided. Some saw it as a necessary move to get younger and build around a generational talent in Luka. Others viewed it as a betrayal of the player who helped deliver Banner 17 to the franchise. The debate raged for weeks about whether the Lakers made the right call, whether trading a proven championship contributor for a younger star was the optimal path forward, and whether the concerns about AD's injury history justified moving on from someone with his unique skill set. But here's where this story takes an absolutely fascinating turn. And this is the moment where everything I've been building toward starts crystallizing into something Lakers Nation needs to pay very close attention to. The Dallas Mavericks recently fired their general manager Nico Harrison, the architect of that blockbuster trade that brought Anthony Davis to Texas. And in the aftermath of that front office shakeup, something remarkable has started happening across the league. Multiple NBA teams are suddenly showing renewed and serious interest in trading for Anthony Davis. The whispers have turned into legitimate conversation. Executives are making calls. And according to league insider Zach Lowe, someone whose credibility and connections are beyond question, there are going to be Anthony Davis trade talks of real seriousness happening. And he would actually bet on a deal getting done. Let that sink in for a moment, Lakers Nation. Anthony Davis, the player we traded away in a move that defined our offseason and shaped our entire strategic direction, might be on the move again. And suddenly, a question that seemed completely hypothetical just weeks ago has become very real and very urgent. Could Anthony Davis actually return to the Los Angeles Lakers? Is there a scenario where we bring back the Brow, reunite him with LeBron for one more championship push, and essentially admit that trading him was a mistake we're now trying to correct? The mere possibility is sending shockwaves through social media, generating intense debate among fans and analysts, and forcing our front office to seriously evaluate whether pursuing a reunion makes sense from both a basketball and organizational standpoint. Let me be completely transparent about the complexities here, because this isn't a simple situation with an obvious answer. Anthony Davis is now 32 years old, firmly in the back half of his prime years. His injury history, which was always a concern even during his best years with us, has only become more problematic. Since arriving in Dallas, AD has only played 14 of 44 games, which is an availability rate that would terrify any team considering trading significant assets for him. His trade value is at the lowest point of his 14-year career, which tells you everything you need to know about how the league currently views him as an asset. When you're dealing with a player who spends more time in street clothes than in uniform, no matter how talented he is when healthy, that fundamentally changes the calculus of whether acquiring him makes strategic sense. The skepticism from fans across the league has been brutal and unrelenting. Social media has been flooded with reactions ranging from cautious pessimism to outright mockery. One fan wrote, "Send him back to LA for pennies," suggesting the Mavericks will be lucky to get anything of value in return. Another added, "A day-to-day Davis man can't stay on the court. Why make this move?" highlighting the availability concerns that have defined his Dallas tenure. The criticism has been harsh, with fans questioning whether any team should invest resources in a player whose body seems to be breaking down at an accelerating rate. And honestly, Lakers Nation, some of that skepticism is warranted. We can't ignore the injury history. We can't pretend that availability isn't the most important ability in basketball. We can't dismiss legitimate concerns about whether a 32-year-old big man with chronic injury issues can be a foundational piece for a championship contender. But here's the counter-argument that I think deserves serious consideration. And this is where my optimism as a Lakers fan starts to creep in. When Anthony Davis is healthy, and I mean truly healthy and operating at full capacity, he is still one of the absolute best big men in basketball. The talent hasn't disappeared. The skill set that made him a champion is still there. His ability to protect the rim, switch on the perimeter players, score from all three levels, and impact winning in multiple ways remains elite when he's on the court. The question isn't whether healthy AD is valuable. It's whether we can reasonably expect him to stay healthy enough to justify whatever we'd have to give up to bring him back. Let's talk specifics about what a potential trade bringing Anthony Davis back to the Lakers might actually look like. Because this is where theory meets reality, and we have to confront the practical challenges of making something like this happen. According to reports and speculation from people who understand the salary cap mechanics, the most straightforward path would involve Dallas offering a D in exchange for Austin Reeves and matching salary to make the numbers work under the CBA. Now, Let me be crystal clear about something. The Lakers should absolutely reject that proposal if it's ever formally presented. Austin Reeves is 5 years younger than Anthony Davis. He's been remarkably durable and available. He's playing at an all-star level right now. And he represents exactly the kind of young core piece you want to build around for the future. Trading Reeves for an injury-prone 32-year-old, no matter how talented that 32-year-old is when healthy, would be repeating the same mistake Dallas made when they dealt a young all-star to acquire Davis in the first place. But there are other potential frameworks that might make more sense from a Lakers perspective. We could theoretically build a package around our 2031 first-round pick, multiple pick swaps, and contracts like Rui Hachimura, Gabe Vincent, and Jared Vanderbilt to match salary. The challenge with any package like that is the logistics become incredibly messy. Dallas would need to clear multiple roster spots in the middle of the season to absorb all those players. Both teams are dealing with apron restrictions that make balancing the money extraordinarily difficult. And we'd be giving up depth pieces and future assets for a player whose availability is a massive question mark. It's the kind of high-risk, high-reward move that could either look brilliant if a D stays healthy and helps us win another championship, or catastrophic if he spends most of his time injured, and we've gutted our depth and future flexibility for nothing. The emotional component of this can't be ignored either. Lakers Nation. Anthony Davis was part of our championship family. He delivered banner 17 alongside LeBron. He has history with this franchise and this city. There will be something poetic about bringing him back for one more run, reuniting the duo that brought us a championship, and giving them another opportunity to add to their legacy together. The Staples Center, or Crypto, Com Arena as we're supposed to call it now, would absolutely erupt if AD walked back through those doors wearing purple and gold. The narrative would be incredible. The excitement would be palpable. And if he could somehow stay healthy and recapture even 80% of what he was during our championship run, we'd instantly become one of the most dangerous teams in the Western Conference. But we also have to be realistic about the risks and the opportunity costs. Every asset we trade for Anthony Davis is an asset we can't use to pursue other upgrades. Every dollar we commit to his salary is a dollar we can't spend elsewhere. Every roster spot he occupies is a spot that could go to a younger, more available player who might not have his peak ceiling, but offers more reliable production over the course of a full season. The front office has to weigh all these factors, has to project how Ad's body will hold up, has to assess whether the championship window with LeBron is still open wide enough to justify a win-now move like this, and has to make the call that gives us the best chance of sustained success. My honest take, Lakers Nation, is that this is one of those situations where I understand both sides of the argument completely. The romantic in me wants to see AD back in purple and gold, wants to believe he can stay healthy, wants to witness LeBron and AD running pick and rolls together one more time in pursuit of banner 18. But the pragmatic side of me looks at the injury history, looks at the assets we'd have to surrender, looks at how well Austin Reeves and our current core have been playing, and wonders if we're better off staying the course rather than making a desperate move that might blow up in our faces. It's genuinely one of the most difficult roster decisions I can remember us facing in recent memory. What I do know is that the front office is going to explore every option. They're going to have conversations with Dallas and any other team that might be interested in AD. They're going to evaluate what it would cost to bring him back, and they're going to make the decision they believe gives us the best chance to compete for championships both now and in the future. Our job as fans is to trust the process, stay informed about what's happening, and be ready to support whatever direction the organization ultimately decides to go. Lakers Nation, I want to hear directly from you on this one. Do you want to see Anthony Davis back in a Lakers uniform? Would you be willing to trade significant assets and take on the injury risk to reunite him with LeBron? Or do you think we should stay away from AD and focus on building around our current core of LeBron, Austin Reeves, and our young pieces? What's your gut telling you about whether he can stay healthy if he comes back? Drop your honest thoughts in the comments, right? Because this is exactly the kind of debate where I want to know how Lakers Nation really feels. If you're serious about staying on top of every development in this Anthony Davis saga, every trade room, every roster move, and every strategic decision that impacts our championship pursuit, Then you need to subscribe to Lakers News Fan Report immediately and turn on those notifications. This is your home for daily Lakers content, insider analysis, and the comprehensive coverage you won't find anywhere else. Share this video with every Lakers fan you know. Smash that like button if you found this analysis valuable, and keep coming back for more exclusive content. Let's go get banner 8 in Lakers Nation. Purple and gold forever.